Welcome back. You're watching Uongozi here on the Morning Prime, and today we are keenly looking at the politics of the week that has been, so to speak. Yesterday was a big day for Azimio, with that positioning of the coalition for our running mates. As it is right now, we have a 7 panel that is tasked to choose a running mate for Raila Odinga. And before we took a short break, we were challenging also, or trying to see what Hamna Manyora is giving out to the public on the Star today in regard to that particular also aspect of Raila being on the horns of a dilemma as far as the running mate is concerned. So let's just get reactions. First of all, you want to defend yourself on this particular...
Yes. I was just saying what I think. And
but why do you say that Kalonzo has been a disturbance?
It's not disturbing. You see, he came in a little late. And when you come into a room and guests are seated, and you still insist there must be a chair for you on the high table, and yet in the Bible that where keeps citing, it is written, when you enter, just don't ask for a seat.
Which Bible is that?
Seats.
Which verse in the Bible?
That's only one. I don't know. I'm not even a Christian, so I have no verses. Look, you can ask whether for the verses. I'm just giving you the general thing I had when I was doing CRE in school. Don't ask for a special seat. Let the host look for you and say, come and sit here. So that's what I'm calling disturbance.
Okay.
He came in late, and like I've already argued, Raila and Uhuru must already have settled on somebody. So now, by demanding, is like a person who comes in for a feast, what I mean, in a room where people are feasting, and there's a sitting arrangement already in place, and people are seated, and there's no extra chair. It only means someone must leave their chair for you. It's quite disturbing, you know. It's quite difficult, you know.
But we've seen that.
That's why some people who are not careful. And I remember on your show, your show, Ken Mujungu's show, I told Lagwanda, don't use this language of we can win without somebody. That's bad language. But I understand why people are getting that point. It can be irritating, you know, when people are already seated and the function is going on, and you are insisting you must be given somewhere to sit, which means someone must go, must either be pushed out or something like that. But Kalonzo deserves to be running it. I've already made the point here that if you are just looking for the normal, frictionless, seamless, natural way of things, then it is just natural that Kalonzo becomes Raila's deputy. But there's a lot more at stake than would appear. So the people from Kalonzo's quarters must also know, one, they have come in late. Secondly, this game is too complex. There are many things to be considered. Because I've said repeatedly, this game is not about 2022, as Duncan might want to think. This game is long term. It stretches into the future and several elections to come. The 2022 is a mere small piece in the big game. And for that reason, I've always believed, and I want to repeat here, perhaps for the last time, that Kalonzo Musyoka is better looking deep into this game. And 2027, the stars will be aligned for him. If he's patient. If Kalonzo Musyoka is patient, 2027 is his time. For now, let him allow Mother Karua to be running mate or Peter Kenneth, because Mount Kenya must be appeased. People must face Mount Kenya in some way or the other.
But let me ask you, because it seems also there is a double deal that is double dealing that is actually being played out here.
How?
Why would it be that Kalonzo Musyoka is a Johnny come lately, so he should not be having, you know, seeking for that particular space on that particular table? But we have Igathe who's coming in as a Johnny come lately, and we have Tim Wanyonyi being prevailed upon not to actually run for that particular seat. He takes the senatorial seat. And Igathe now runs for the governorship.
I'm always consistent. Again, on Ken Mijungu's show, I said, everybody, even a kid, can see Polycarp Igathe is a project. It's being pushed by somebody. You can't just walk into this big city. Yes. For heaven's sake, this is not Kakamega or Paranya City. It's not even Kisumu, where the likes very much. This is not Mombasa. This is Nairobi. This is a big city. This is a complex city. When you are mentioning cities in the world, you'll mention Nairobi. It's not a small place. It's complex. If somebody comes in this late, we can only conclude it's a project. Somebody is being pushed by somebody. And I've said that's not right. I've also argued, if Azimio wanted to win this thing, as I told you to say it, Asubuhi by 10, you just give Tim Wanyonyi. He'll beat Sakaja hands down by 10 o'clock. In fact, 10 is too late. You know, I said even Ngatia, because he had come early and he understands the roughness of Nairobi. He has shown signs of understanding this city of Kinakamanda. This is the city of Kinakamanda. Fellows who understand the rough parts of this city and how they should ask Jim Nambaro. You remember Jim Nambaro? Consider it done. It was not done. This is a rough city. And Ngati had learned. And I've said, he gathered to me, will have a rough time beating Sakaja. I know they will work on it. And he will beat Sakaja. But it will be, you'll have to wait until the last vote is counted for you to know Igade has beaten Sakaja. If they wanted somebody to win, in the morning, it was Tim Wanyonyi. Second best would have been Ngatia. Polycarp Igade, they will do a lot of work. So I'm consistent. When somebody comes in late, you must see something is not normal, something not right. And to work on that thing can really disturb you. And that's why you can see this Kalonzo issue is disturbing Azimio. And this Igade thing, they affronted him. They are going to unveil him today, most likely. They will see. In another 1 month's time, they were saying, we wish we listen to Manyora. This guy is becoming a hard sell. With Ruto marketing Sakaja in Nairobi, and Sakaja being a master of the language, and with support of Ruto, Polycarp will be breakfast for them. They will have him for breakfast.
Let's hear from Dr. Jong on that particular note, because it seems we can hark back to how also Igathe really came in to be the deputy running mate of Sonko, right, in 2017.
And I talked about it on a rival TV station. Yes. I said you can't pretend you can work. It will be Sonko working. I told him on a TV show somewhere, Dennis Pritu. I told him, you cannot work. Somebody's lying to you. It will be Sonko making the decisions, not you.
All right. Dr. John.
Generally, people are not allowed to cite themselves. Professor Manyora is citing himself with a lot of ease.
Who am I fighting?
In unpublished journals. I said.
You need a peer review.
Yeah, right. Generally, you cite others. And you put your argument, but you don't say it as I say it.
This is a TV show, my friend. This is how we do it here.
Jesus talk like that. Verily, as I say it then.
Verily.
But for human being, the Bible is saying in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses. So you cite others. That is the basis of citation. I think the person we are missing might even be Gideon Moi, might still be at play. Where I disagree with Manyora is seeing the obvious and saying the obvious in a very great grammar. And he's making an assumption that President Uhuru is happy with a running mate from Mount Kenya. I don't think so. Because for him to remain relevant, he's not ready to be succeeded or to groom somebody. Whether in the coalition agreement is the chair or advisor, but if he has a running mate from Mount Kenya, who then become running mate, that person will edge him out. And because he's not ready to exit the scene, I think he's simply managing Mount Kenya. He's simply showing how it was agonizing, those nice things we say when people come out in the press. We fought as Mount Kenya, but we finally... So he was even willing, in my view, to give it to Ngili. So I think from his backyard, for him to remain safe, for him to remain the topmost person, he will not initiate, advise a running mate from Mount Kenya, despite what looks obvious and despite what he does, which appears to be that. I think deep inside, he will not be comfortable with that. And therefore, he will easily give it to Kalonzo and remain the Mount Kenya foremost spokesman. When Jubilee was relaunching, if you look at the coalition agreement, Jubilee has put its name on the top. He's the party leader of Jubilee. You saw him branding and coming with his posters, yet he's leaving in 6 months. He's not branding Raila. He was branding himself. There was posters in Jubilee Lodge. So he's still interested in the scene. He will not want somebody to dwarf him as running mate. And that is what is not obvious, but for some of us, it's obvious. Number two, and I like what Prof is saying, aptly, that this Martha Karua, Raila, are X to truth, are X to human rights, are X what he calls the maturing or the graying effect, that they used to love truth. They used to love history. And as long as you are consistent with the past tense, you can see. I don't know whether that's a compliment. I don't think it's a compliment when you're saying, you used to love truth. You used to love human rights, but now you know better. That's what he has been saying throughout. No, not in those words, but you are saying, the part of maturing is part of now. Is part of now.
I allow you to get away with that because I didn't say that. And for you,
not in those words.
I know sufficient English.
No, I didn't say it lacks English. Oh, sorry. Maybe I look like I'm belittling that point. It was put in better English. But what I read out of it, it's not the grammar I'm challenging. I'm saying, you are saying, the Raila now, the Martha now. The ex-reformists. Yes, reformists. They used to be reformists. But then finally, having said that the president looks to me, beside what looks obvious, he will not be comfortable with a running mate from Mount Kenya because of the reason I've stated. Finally, this being a patchwork of parties, in a cloth, if I have a cloth with patches, you cannot say which arrived first. They have viraka, and now they are one cloth. If it is mosaic, if it is collage, you cannot say because the suit came before this kiraka, therefore the suit is mini. This is a patchwork. That's what a coalition is. And so in this patchwork, it will be very unfair and inhumane to tell Kalonzo that he came late because you put that patchwork because you had a crack that you are seeing. And he said it very well, that they knew they will need Kalonzo. And he told Agwanda that don't say we have this thing back because you don't and you need all the help. Therefore, you cannot, who needed help? It wasn't Kalonzo, it was them. So then you cannot come and say you came late to what? The coalition is called Azimio, Kenya. Azimio, it's called La Umoja. Remember the Umoja, and then Kalonzo pushed, and this time maybe getting better deals. It is a coalition. And so in that patchwork, you cannot say that Kalonzo came late. It will be unfair. Because the gentlemen who are there realized they lacked somebody and they brought in. So in short, what I'm listening to, in our SDA hymn, we have a song called Prone to Wander, Lord, I Feel It. Professor is prone to wander a little bit. But we'll gently help you through this difficult time.
Prone to wonder, I feel it. You know that song? Yeah. You're fantastic. Okay, we just want to wind up on the Deputy President, and we can juxtapose that particular discussion also with the race in Nairobi for the governorship, and then now we buckle down to also Kenya Kwanza in Western Kenya and the new coalition or pact agreement between the Deputy President and Musalia Mudavadi with 30% at the end of the day. Do you first of all hold, because I've not heard you really commenting on what Herman had actually said on the Star, so I just want to give you that particular opportunity.
Thank you. This story that Honorable Kalonzo came late, I really don't understand from which dustbin it has been picked. The last we recall, Kalonzo was Raila's running mate. They had a deal to take power. It is the president who defeated them who has come in. So this thing of coming late, I don't understand. Secondly, it is these people who went for him. Even when he said, now I'm leaving, the president had to go and sit with him and say, Baba, come. But I want you to keep this part of my statement, this clip, this part, that if the running mate position is not given to Kalonzo, the Kamba votes will divide almost half. And Baba's chances of becoming the president will be reduced by 1 million votes. Now that even if you give the running mate to a person from Mount Kenya, there is still no guarantee that they will troop from the DP's support to Azimio. Chances that they will troop is very minimal. So that when you are looking at Mount Kenya, Honorable Raila Azim should only be looking for about 30%. But 30% against the backdrop that Honorable Kalonzo's 2 million votes are intact. You mishandle him, I think he's fed up. He seems like he just wants to stop Raila from going ahead. So let us handle Kalonzo carefully. You mishandle him thinking it doesn't matter. The 207 will repeat itself. What do I mean by 207? He was mishandled, he left with his 1 million votes, and Raila could not clearly defeat a sitting president. It was 150, 200,000 votes. There is no president in Africa who will leave office because of 200,000 votes. So they did a abracadabra. And then eventually they retained power. You understand this? Let them not do that. Let them, if they have taken Nairobi, they have taken the deputy, they are telling Kalonzo, if there is something, we will give you speaker, which is also not guaranteed. Now he's saying, without deputy, I will go. They are saying, we'll give you some cup of tea. That is the same talk Kalonzo had in 2007, 2006. He said, I will go. You do this, I will run. I will do that. And they were like, Kambas are like that. They are never, you can't trust them. Eventually he left. The rest is history. So I am telling the Azimio people, if you really want this power, and because my president is there and I don't want him to lose, treat Kalonzo with respect, carefully. Negotiate with him direct. Let him not look at Mudavadi and say, I wish I had gone. Because Mudavadi has clear, concrete proposals on the table. When President Uhuru was with the deputy president, 2013, 2017, I was there. I have been there. Clear, concrete proposal, 50-50. When they took power, it was 50-50. But these are what is so difficult in telling Kalonzo, yours will be 25%. It includes this position and this position and this position. President Uhuru, you are coming. Yours will be 40%. This position, this one. Mine will be this. Presidency and this. Why is it so difficult? Mishandling Kalonzo will definitely mean that power is not coming, whether the president is with you. Why? Because Mount Kenya seems to have made up their minds to be with Ruto. They get the deputy president, they don't get it, they seem to be gone. Finally, on the deputy presidency, it appears the way they have been handled. He doesn't hold much. That is maybe what has formed Mudavadi's position. He says, no, what we do, you don't have to bother about it. Let's just agree on the ministries. I hold the ministries, I will be okay. Because Honorable Ruto is now big because he has resources. The others are not big, not because they are not popular, but because they cannot hire 1,000 dome tents every weekend. They don't have choppers moving up and down endlessly. You ask people, do you want a lift? They are not able to do that. That is why now they are down. So deal with that. Coming to our brother Igade's chi, as Achebe would say, is good. Good because in spiritual matters, we call them destiny helpers. Everything you want is in the hands of another person, and God can send that person to just uplift you. You get it? President Uhuru was not the most outstanding, strong, whatever, when President Moi was living in 2000, was it 2092? He wasn't. But his chi just came up and Moi said, I love this one. The rest is history. So that is where I got this. Some people just come up. When they were with Sonko, Sonko was the person who was in grassroots, running and singing, rescuing people. He was told, okay, you can go in, but we will give you a deputy. Sonko, being a clever person from the streets, said, bring him on. I know I will ignore him immediately, I take power. So he took him. He went in. And they told, I think when they got in, must have told the guy, they have spent a lot of money, we have to recover that. I have to prepare myself for the future. I'm still young. Then Igade looked at this corporate image and said, at this rate, I have to leave. He left without doing anything. So that now that your people are reporting, a deputy who fought to be heard by so, he didn't fight him. He quit so early. I don't even think he signed any letter. I don't even think he complained. I don't even think he meandered as a politician. So now again he has been called in. Because I think your friend, the one you're saying, people like Ngatia, they could run into issues when we look at documents. Documents like papers. I hear the rumors, I don't know, that there could be issues with papers. So Igade comes in and they will push him. Remember, Wanjiku is given a candidate to own. Wanjiku does not bring out candidates. We can bring in Manyora today and then tomorrow we say he's the best presidential candidate we have been waiting for. And if the oligarchs put in their resources, their whatever, they put in their newspapers and media house to beef you up, you just come up and you win. So Wanyonyi is good, efficient. He has proven himself. But he has no oligarchs. There are no Luya oligarchs behind him. There are no Luo oligarchs behind him. Manyora is here just talking on TV, but cannot order that you do live Wanyonyi things. So his issues, the country is not looking for efficiency. The country is not looking for delivery. Wanjiku is not looking for that. That's why Wanjiku votes for a person in this party. They vote for a person in this tribe. Then they complain later. What is being voted for are interests. Interests. You represent those interests, you go in. You don't represent them, you are out. But do not, Senior Counsel Martha Karua, I think it is only that the other day they called her. Otherwise, she remains the defiant one. She was the other day in the BBI, sponsored by Uhuru, sponsored by President Uhuru, sponsored by Honorable Raila Odinga, and all this. He still went on and said, this is a voodoo amendment. The devil is in this amendment. He said it just the other day. But going along, she found herself between, it is like the devil between a rock and a hard place. A devil and deep blue sea. What do I mean? Looking at Ruto, it is like no-go zone. Honorable Ruto stands for everything Martha Karua is against. So that is a rock. Hard place. This side, there is Raila, who is now in the handshake, together with Uhuru. So she looks around. Akuna, looking at herself, Wanjiku also, she tried to run for president. She realized Wanjiku was deaf. Looking at the helicopter, she doesn't have even one. And you need it to do Western and Coast. So she said, finding myself between the devil and the deep blue sea. I am not going to the devil. I'd rather deep myself into the deep blue sea. That's why she is here. And she's trying. You could even see the way she on that photo with the president. The way she was trying to cook a smile. You can see that smile. It's a snide smile. It's like I am defeated. But that is not the fellow they want to put near that Njora. You know the Njora? The one the president is given in Kasarani. Yes. It's normally swung like this, meaning if you joke, we'll cut you like this, then we will bring it like this, then we will put it here to celebrate. Now, they can't put Martha Karua there a heartbeat away. I can tell you, Martha Karua becomes president. These things about corruption, whatever, she would easily open them. There is the ICC unfinished business. She will quickly open those ones, and she will not wink. The oligarchs know this very well. They are not stupid people. They are very clever.
Okay. Let's flip the coin to the UDA also candidature for the deputy president. I mentioned earlier the names that have been proposed as Professor Kindiki Kithure. We have also Ndidi Nyoro, and we have now the Democratic Party chairman, who is a speaker also of the National Assembly, right?
Muturi.
Yeah, Justice Muturi.
Maybe you'll give me just half a second to respond to a few things mentioned.
Okay.
But
the half a second is finished.
Yeah, it's already finished. Yeah. Half a second of talking, not of English, not of mathematics. When I said half of Kenya supports Raila, somebody asked me, what do you mean by half? I told him it was not mathematical half. It was communication half and political half. Talking of English, Duncan, I didn't say Raila is past, that he used to be this. I just say time deals with human beings. You mellow a bit with time. Nobody remains tough forever. And that's how you must understand Raila and understand who? Mother Karua. That's what I meant. In fact, the bar, Raila must be wondering, how can Kenyans subject him to a competition with Ruto? Surely. To get to a point, to be Raila is a tough thing. To be put to test with a competitor like William Ruto, it must be so tough for Raila. Where do you find the comparison between the two? So talking about reform and democracy and human rights and the general will for this country to go far, to develop, you can't compare Raila to almost anybody else in this country. There isn't. I can't compare to you. Can't. Ruto is somewhere so far. In fact, there's no comparison. It's not even on the queue. So that's what I meant. Kalonzo is okay. Please believe me, you. Kalonzo has come late. If you put it on a time scale, he has come a little late. Things have taken place. That's a fact. And that he will accept what he will be given. We have started with the speaker of the Nairobi Assembly.
Such arrogance.
And let me tell you, I want to make Ambrose my friend to see this. Who could be my lawyer tomorrow? If you had told Mudavadi and his people that at some point you'll be asking for only cabinet positions, what would they have told you? Even 3 months ago.
No, in Raila,
they will have thought you are. Please, they will have told you you are crazy. They wanted the presidency. They still believed Ruto will leave them the presidency. But then, with the time, they dropped to the moon. The moon was deputy. No Musela running mate, no Kenya Kwanza, Malala. Now they have dropped it to half of some part of government. You get what I'm saying? So even with Kalonzo, he will demand running mate, he will go down, finally he will settle on something. They will be given many good things, Speaker of the National Assembly or Senate, and finally they will accept. That's how politics work. Unaenda pole. You see, Mother Karua, just finally, Mother Karua is not a bad person. And she's not mad. She will deal with reality. Let me tell you, Ambrose Weda and Deba and Duncan and my dear viewers, when Trump was elected into office, people thought hell will break loose. What they forgot is one simple thing. The presidency almost of every country is a straitjacket. It's a straitjacket. And the country has its owners. They cannot allow you to be wild. So, and particularly for this case, because this is a long game, you will not be made running mate before they are sure of the role you'll play and how you'll play it. Now to the question of DP Ruto. And there are names like Kindiki, Professor Kindiki, good guy. Ndindi Nyoro, wonderful young man. And therein lies the problem William Ruto has. And that's why he can never get anywhere near State House. Who? William Ruto. Because Kenyan, listen, these names explain now the problem he faces in Ndindi Nyoro. When you get to a point where you are telling Kenyans you can give them Ndindi Nyoro as a running mate, that's where the problem is. Kenyan politics, Ambrose, you will agree with me, is ethnic based. Ruto tried to say you can't do it. He's back there. Kenyan politics is played with big names. Regional, ethnic, regional, and with big names. If you do not have a big name behind you, that's why I tell people they must respect William Ruto. To be where he is, and his father was nothing. He was nothing until recently. That he has gone against the grain. That's not Kenyan politics. And that's why when you give Kikuyu somebody like Ndindi Nyoro, they think you are slapping them in the face. And that's where Ruto's image is. Because if Raila chooses somebody like Peter Kenneth or Peter Munya, and you give them on the other side Ndindi Nyoro, Raila chooses somebody like Mother Karua, and you give the other side, you bring Anne Waiguru, Kikuyus will think you are crazy. They will not listen to you.
And my guru is popular.
I'm saying that's where the problem is.
But why? Didi Nyoro will bring in the youthful factor.
Which youthful? There's no democracy.
Listen. And because also pundits are saying that if Deputy President William Ruto chooses a very strong also Deputy President for himself, he's 27 will be a challenge as well.
Ruto.
Right? No, this is what pundits are saying.
Yes.
So if we have, for instance, Rigathi Gachagua, he has the wherewithal. There is also the Mount Kenya region that he brings to bear. It will be, for him, it will be the same scenario that we're having with President Uhuru Kenyatta and Deputy President William Ruto. It will be the same fist fight. He has the wherewithal, he has the experience at the end of the day, and he has the backing of the Mount Kenya. So, a person like Ndindi Nyoro, who has a youthful face at the end of the day, that will be a shocker to many Kenyans. Just as you're saying, this is the shock politics that we learned about when Donald Trump was really. Let me just finish my point. Then you try and decipher it yourself. So, William Ruto will not really go for a deputy president who is strong, because that will pretend to be another challenge for him when he's running in 2027. The choice of deputy president for him, as Pandita put it, will be a weaker deputy president, so that now he can be subdued, so to speak. And when it comes to 2027, that will be a shoe-in for him himself. And this was the politics of playing also in 2017, even for the governorship of Nairobi, at the end of the day. Who was to be the governor of Nairobi? That was, being fronted by Jubilee was Peter Kenneth, wasn't it?
I think we are mixing.
No. Then we had Mike Sonko just coming from the left side at the end of the day. And then Polycarp was being also proffered as a deputy. Now we have a technocrat and a politician at the end of the day. You saying I'm missing a point?
You are mixing two things. And many people make that mistake. There is the hunting and the distribution of the game you have hunted. The first thing is to get the animal. Put it down, then you can begin to say who will get what part of the animal. Many people confuse those two. The animal, when it is down, is the government. It is how you relate with your running mate. He can be a problem to you, he may not be a problem. How will you manage him? That is animal distribution. You will have to deal with it. You will have to look for a better knife than your running mate, who's now your deputy president. But the thing now is to win the election. How do you win an election? When you go to Mount Kenya and tell them, I have looked in this big area and I found you, Ndindi Nyoro, is the one who can represent you. Remember, and I've said this, I want to be allowed to repeat. You are talking about the most populous community in this country. You are talking about the most political community in this country, who know the sweetness of power. You are talking about the almost one of the most united communities. You are talking about the Mau Mau community. You are talking about the most economically endowed community in this country. And then you are telling them, you, the Mau Mau people, I'll give you this small boy. Sorry for using that term. That's how people speak. Eh? When you get to my age, you refer to people like you as boys. You have to understand. But he's an honorable member of parliament. And he knows I respect him a lot. You are telling the community, this young man is the one I want to speak for you. They think you are joking with them. That will haunt you, because that's not how Kenyan politics is played. It is played through big names. And if you want to be with the Kikuyus and you are William Ruto, you can't go below Rigathi Gachagua. If you go below Rigathi Gachagua and pick this young man here, whatever you are going to get from that community, you not get. And by the way, Ambrose, I forgot to tell you something. One of the things I wanted to remind you is that today, you said the opinion polls, different types, including their own. The best, even themselves they have, gives them 75%. And they celebrate that. Are you telling me up to August they'll still be having 75%? The jury is out there. You are the lawyer, you know. It is quite unlikely, according to me, that the Uhuru onslaught on the mountain will yield nothing. And I've told many people, I told Gachagua last time I was with him here, I told him, if you think that Uhuru Kenyatta will go to Mount Kenya and ask the Kikuyu to face Mount Kenya, and they will tell him, go home, you son of Jomo Kenyatta and Mama Ngina, go home, empty-handed, then you are naive.
Just allow me to react.
If you have finished, you can continue.
On this. This feeling that big names, that is only a thinking where you come from and where I come from. Those people you have counted, Mau, whatever, they know that people bid their time. They want the presidency. They don't want jokes. That is why, before things settled, you can see Peter Kenneth being propped up. So if you prop up another one who can do 20 years, they are hallelujah. When President Uhuru picked on, President Moi picked on Uhuru, Kibaki came and took him up. Just prompted him up. What was his advantage? Time, age, resources. It is only where he comes from that they stick on one leader and they wait until he is finished. Then they have nobody. So that's why he says, bring big names. The mountain would be very happy to have a young person who will do 10 years and another wait for 10 years, even 20 years and still be strong. When Raila was elected MP Langata, he was 45, 47. 1992. He has now done almost 30 years. He's been in politics. He is maturing up. Now, if he was 60 then, he would not have made it. So I really don't think that they look at it. They look at the prospects. They know that this time round, we are not having a third person succeeding as a second Kikuyu president. So I really don't think it will be a big problem. The big problem would be for those very communities that have one big name. If the big name is in hospital, the whole community is in hospital. If the big name is negotiating for cabinet position, the whole community is negotiating for cabinet. If the big name is not running for anything, and you can see in Kambani. They have Kalonzo, and then they have my teacher, Professor Kebwana, and they have Ngilu. And they are doing this. Chap is trying to come up, but he has issues. He's still crying over girls. So nobody's being built. The same Mount Kenya, you are talking about Peter Munya, you are talking about Kenneth, you are talking about Didi Nyoro, you are talking about Igade, you are talking about, they are packed, they are saying, when we will negotiate, these guys will have matured up. So tell your people also, Manyora, that the ones that you think should take over power.
No, the ones who will take over, I think.
That there is the first generation, and then there's the generation that is built up. Otherwise, we'll be stuck. I look at where I come from, the Luo nation. If Baba was to sign a letter off that I'm not running, we will go under the table.
You will?
Go under the table. We really don't know who will negotiate for us. Orengo is old. Nyomo is, Orengo has decided, I'm going to the village to collect taxes in Rwambwa and
village taxes.
Yes. Nyomo is collecting taxes in Kibuye and Kombewa and the rest. There's no other. Kedero is trying. Kedero left the city. Now he wants to collect in Rangwe, this Omabe.
From fishermen.
From fishermen beating. So there is nobody who can stand here and say, okay, Baba has decided to hang in the boots. We are here. And Kenya say, hallelujah.
Win is there.
Thank you. All right. Let's hear from Mojuang.
Maybe very briefly, let me add that if you check at the time President Uhuru Kenyatta was running for presidency compared to Dindi Nyoro, it's like day and night. I think some of our professors are thinking should be consigned to Museum of History. The idea that there are some families, there are some people. Yes, there could be challenges, but this country have proved over and over again I mean, if you look at the wave going on even in these nominations, you can see that there is a revolution happening and it will not be televised. People are going for their own people and not for the leaders. So if you are talking for hypnotized people who are waiting to be ordered, you can see that Mount Kenya have defied a lot of this. And there is no way you can say Ndindi Nyoro could disappoint a Mama Mboga from Mount Kenya, or a typical Mount Kenya person who is not a tender entrepreneur. If Manyora's version of truth wins, then we are in a very difficult country. And we should throw away our constitution. In fact, every time I listen to him, I need to go for a constitutional conference to reaffirm myself that there is something called constitution. He bastardized the thing. There is no constitution. This is Kenya. This is me. I have to be assured that is the constitution there, because he doesn't operate from the constitutional framework. He does not start from what people can do. He knows, I know some families who determines. It's a very hopeless situation, even coming from Mr. I can't take it very well after being given hope by
You rested your case.
So, Herman Manyora is not really prepared for shock politics, because it appears that this particular election is going to be an election of shock politics. People are going to be shocked. And even the prospects of having Ndindi Nyoro as the deputy president cannot be off the table at the end of the day.
Well, you know me, I'm a very revolutionary mind. Many people don't know me. I'm very revolutionary. If you listen to me, if you are to take a collection of the things I say and critically go through them, you'll see this is a very progressive and revolutionary mind. I am many years ahead of many other Kenyans. And that's why I dismiss the people who are running for president, including Raila. In many of my pronouncements, in my videos on my channel and on TV, like now, I have said it. Because the kind of Kenya I have in mind will come maybe 50 years after I'm dead. So, please, understand me very well. But I'm a realist because I know what politics is. Politics is not in a textbook. Politics is not in a classroom, in a lecture room. Politics is outside there like in a commander. How do you want a siasa? Look here, trying to compare losing an election is just part of this game. Trying to compare Uhuru Kenyatta in 2002 and Ndindi Nyoro, you are missing the point. And even saying Ndindi Nyoro is higher than where Uhuru Kenyatta was. Uhuru Kenyatta is a Kenyatta, my friend. My friend, Uhuru Kenyatta is not just another boy. At the ICC, his lawyer was saying, remember, this is the guy whose father's image is on Kenyan currency. My friend, Uhuru Kenyatta. Now this is why I sympathize with Kenyans. This is why I sympathize with people like Ambrose, my friend. What have I done now? They think Uhuru Kenyatta is the man they see there. This is a level politician. This is a Kenyatta hiding with a facade. The facade you are saying is not Kenyatta. There is a Kenyatta behind there. I read somewhere by Madhu. I read somewhere. I think it was something by Madhu in a newspaper in the year 2002. And he said he had gone somewhere. I think Brookside or somewhere. Then Uhuru Kenyatta entered. The man he saw was a different man. He was shocked. This is not the man you see in public. And many Kenyans, many politicians are like that, and other leaders. So my friend, when I say Ndindi Nyoro may not fall in the eyes of the Kikuyus na ajae ndani ya macho yao, Uhuru Kenyatta was a mudhamaki. He wasn't just another boy from Gatundu, my friend. If you think Uhuru Kenyatta was just another boy from Mishaweri, then you are getting it wrong. This is a Kikuyu prince.
Thank you.
All right, Kikuyu priest, so we are dealing with a priest, not just an ordinary person.
Thank you. I want us to grab
in the same, just a second. In the same way, because Kenyans don't see these things. Even when Moi put them in a trap and Raila fell for it in 2002, you think you defeated Kanu. Which Kanu did you defeat? This was some mahindi imetupiwa kuku na ikameza. In the same vein, Kenyans, there is a prince in waiting called Gideon Kipsiele Moi. And you are just making noise here you are not seeing. In the next 5-10 years, this guy will be in State House. You said, Manyora, what were you? Manyora said this. You must understand the politics, how it is played. Which I suspect a good number of you don't understand.
Duncan Ojwang.
Can we allow something like that to just go? Just allow me to say something.
It's painful to watch.
Let me say that the King of Kings says that the earth is the Lord's and its fullness, and the people thereof. There is nobody who is a miracle in this earth. None. I support President Uhuru. I know him as a charming, amiable, nice person. Beyond that, that is some form of miracle that when he walks into the room and blah, blah, blah. No. If he was that, we would rebuke that kind of character in the name of the Lord. Because the earth is the Lord's, unless he creates his own earth. So the Uhuru we know is not the one you are painting. The President Uhuru we know, a very amiable, charming, nice, go easy fellow. He can eat Metura, he can eat in Kenyatta Market, he walks in, as a human being can get annoyed.
He did not extensively say who that.
No, what he has painted is Uhuru. One day somebody's matters he walked into Brookside and it was like God has walked in. That we rebuke that kind of thinking in the name of Jesus. We were told that anybody who says anything against the Odingas, they have never lived. They are never walked. Some of us said, people like when I said, to hell with that, and we shall stand, and we are here. And we are now very good friends with Baba and everybody else. Now, there was a time the Bible said, don't call anybody father. We've gone. So let us not over pontificate over mortal human beings who come. We used to have somebody called Mobutu Sese Seko. Hero, that one. When Kabila was storming Kinshasa, people said, wait, Kabila will come, Mobutu will come. Before we realized, he was somebody in this baby diapers being taken to Germany or whatever. So let us not over pontificate, let us over create mortal human beings who feel pain, who cry, who kneel down and worship the King of Kings, the Lord.
Thank you.
Lord.
I can see we pinched for time, but there's a very critical issue that we wanted to raise as well. Yes. We've not talked about Justin Muturi in this mix also on the UDA side as well, just briefly. And then the wipe-up ticket giving Sonko the ticket for the governorship of Mombasa. He's been impeached here. Can we talk about the legal dynamics just briefly as we're winding up the show as well?
Very fast, I think, Africans are the most patient people. And the professor is safe as long as he treads on that. But the thinking and the argument belongs to the Museum of Kenya History. That is why the Nyayo torture chambers is now a museum. Because Kenyans have defeated a sitting president. Kenyans, the constitution put its trust with the people. Kenyans fought Moi and Moi went home, and honorably so. So we might look at different forms of history or type of history, but I think that I put my trust with what the people can do in their constitution, and the sovereignty belongs to the people. These are not just words, they are real. In earnest, also, I think, you know, when you go to rallies and you hear Igwe and you see people bowing, those kind of nonsense never get you to presidency. We have bowed so many times. That is what Prof is bringing here, the Igweness. No, Kenya is not a monarchy. Kenya belongs to Kenyans, and they have power. and they have proved it over and over again that they can choose, and they will choose. Like I said before, there are thoroughbreds, a Saluki dog, which can bark and bite. But finally, I think that Wiper is finally getting this game of politics, that bad people find their luck. In fact, Wakili Weda, and also as a man of God, it appears that God's favor sometimes is with the wicked more than because of his grace, maybe. I think
sometimes when you want to punish a people, he allows the people to go into Babylon,
yeah,
where you will be cast
to be taught some lessons.
Into line, yes.
So Sonko's choice and Sonko ability and what you saw, Azimio ODM must now go back to the drawing board. You saw the guy they took the ticket from. The people are crying literally. For real, I've never seen such a genuine supporters. Not bowing Igwe, but saying you are to do this and this to us. Sonko is a serious candidate in Mombasa. Legal or none, we are in a process where when President Uhuru Kenyatta was allowed to run, and ICC said that our job is not to say who can run, and when the court pronounced itself to say innocent until proven guilty against the crime against humanity, you, Dibal, I saw even the wonderful show yesterday, you have lived through 10 years of President Uhuru, who came in as an ICC suspect. Being impeached is a political process. I think when we talk of conviction, we are looking for legal processes. I stand guided, but I think there's nothing inhibiting from running, and it's a serious candidate.
But what would you think when we have, the Ministry of Interior saying that we have intelligence that almost, this was yesterday's standard, that criminals could win nearly half of elective seats, and this is what he's warning.
40%. The people's
40%. Yeah, 40%.
But you see, one Ministry of Interior. Actually, it used to be told that there are people who have intelligence, there are people who help, but Kenyans have a chance to vote or not to vote. The idea of criminals. And I've given up also to some extent on Wanjiku, because Wanjiku is the biggest Mukora in this country. Wanjiku is the person who will tell you they want this, they go to that booth, and they will vote for these so-called criminals. So I don't think, I think that statistics, one, is alarmist, it's exaggerating. Number two, I have looked at this parliament. There is no debate that this parliament have undertaken, whether they are criminals or not, that it is not the party leaders' positions. Have they brought check and balance? Have they checked the government? Have they improved our life? No. So whether you pack it with criminals, whether you pack it with saints, at the end of the day, sometime I pick the doomful picture that Professor was painting here. I mean, so what if you have a saint being controlled out of parliament or a criminal being controlled out of parliament? They will both do what the party leader wants.
And I remember once Manyola was saying, we are a country of thieves.
Yeah, that's what we are. This friend
when we're on the other side of the track, there's a clip
from Utopia, and once in a while he lands here and talks about Museum of History. Politics is a game of ground, period. That's why Machiavelli stands strong in his observations. And it's in the Bible, because the God told the people of Israel, please, you be ruled by intelligent people like Ambrose Weda, judges. The people told him, no, we want kings. And he told them, these people will mess you, they will oppress you, they will take your daughter, they will enslave you. We want kings. In the world of kings and politics, my friend, you are living in utopia. For example, where did Moi go?
We are winding up, yes.
Where did Moi go? Has Moi left this country? Where did Moi leave this country? Did Moi go anywhere? Where did Moi go? Did we really send Moi go? And finally, about 40%. And this is where I want to end up. Kenyans will have to make up their mind whether they want to continue living in a poor, dirty third world country where people die from hunger and starvation and eat wild roots and even dogs, in a country where people die from diarrhea and hunger. If you want to live in that country and you queue for visas to go in other countries that have been developed by other people, you can choose to do what we are doing. You will choose to elect criminals and thieves and murderers and rapists, and your courts that you celebrate will continue taking for ages, forever. And the IBC will continue saying they can't vet people, and the EAC will continue earning and not helping us to get rid of these thieves. If you choose to remain a poor, dirty third world country, then continue with business as usual. But we must end on a good note. This country deserves better. The children of this country deserve good education and a better future. That future cannot be realized without leadership. And you cannot have leadership with these crooks around.
Ambrose, we're winding up.
Very quickly, let me say, number one, on matters impeachment. Sonko was impeached as a governor for wrongdoing. The political process convicted him. The spirit of our constitution does not allow him to run for a same office elsewhere. So even if we Jeremianda and we go round and we do the hadabracadabra, it is wrong. He could maybe, for academic purposes, run for another office, but for governor, that is just a change from Nairobi to Mombasa or Kisumu, no. And if I was a judge and that was brought before me, I would definitely interpret the spirit of the constitution. I would buy him. Number two, criminals. Criminals are only people who are convicted and found, and that conviction has settled. Otherwise, Honorable Matiang'i would have said suspects or whatever. So what he's saying, when you look at the context, he was addressing the Anglican bishops and senior clergy in West. So to make them feel happy, I think he was coming up with this thing of criminals. Otherwise, a person like me who stood by President Uhuru and the Deputy President, when they were charged with crimes against humanity, moving population, rape, and we went to court and insisted, and a decision was made that they can run. It is wrong for a minister appointed by same people to come before bishops and then start saying, we will elect criminals. Finally, on the Wanjiku, the same Wanjiku, Jesus Christ fed them, I think on a Wednesday, and they welcomed him singing, Hosanna Jew, Hosanna Jew, Hosanna Jew. On the day Jesus Christ was taken before court, and they were told, Jesus is innocent. There's nothing he has done. We found him. The same one, Jacob, said, crucify him. Therefore, God himself says, he who trusts, curses the man who trusts in fellow man. You only trust in Jehovah, then yourself.
Thank you.
Hallelujah.
All right. And I'm going to talk here briefly.
As long as we still stand by Machiavelli, this was a book written in 1800, a 30-page book.
Nicholas Machiavelli.
Yes. Europe moved past it. Yet our political science are still teaching this nonsense. In the name of this is politics. The constitution, we have 6 constitutions after Machiavelli. Please, let's update our thinking with the constitution, and let us cite the constitution and not Machiavelli, a silly book in Europe. There were kings in Luyaland, Omwami. Great examples that you can cite, not Machiavelli. Please bring us Nabongo.
Thank you.
We are tired of this.
Let's leave it at that. We are
improvisation.
We need to
go.
Thank you very much.
Europe is back there.
Thank you. No, thank you. We can't take. No. We need to wind up. Thank you very much. You've been watching Morning Prime here, Uongozi Today. We continue our pace with this conversation next week. Don't go away. Much more coming up with Brian Aseli.